Hey, buddy, welcome back to another episode of Frank's Unsolicited Advice. It's been a minute since I've been on here to record for this podcast. I've been more consistent with Frank Presents the Play Call. A lot of easier to do that sometimes than do this. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been wanting to get on and record. I just haven't made the time. And here I am today on a President's day off. Figured if I'm not at work on the ship, I might as well be at work at home. So kind of everybody sleeping in their rooms, I have time to get on here and record. And what I wanted to talk about pretty much was the journey. This is what this is going to be titled, The Journey. And I say that because I say journey in the sense of life. And I feel that we all have, when we're born, we have a journey that's for us. And we can fulfill that journey one way or another, but we're going to get there. One could be the decisions we make can take us the long way through different stops and detours, which gives us different life experiences. And the other would be taking the path suggested and giving us less problems, less detours, quicker route. But I believe at the end of the day, we all attain that. Now, depending on what your belief is, whether you're a religious person that believes in the earth or the world, the universe, or just in anything and don't believe in nothing and just feel like I wake up every morning and I'm just going to do what I feel like doing because that's what life is taking me. We all have choices to make. And those choices impact the path we take. So, and along the line, in that journey of life, we meet people, we make friends, we create relationships. We create, well, we not create, we make friends, we increase our families, circles get bigger or smaller depending on the experience. But that's part of the journey, that you have the route you take. And in that route, you're going to get to stop in different places. And those places could be people you meet. And this is like metaphorically speaking, right? It's not, I'm not saying that a place is a person, no, but what I'm saying is if we take the journey of life, for me, for example, I spent 18 years in the Bronx. I didn't go anywhere. I was in the Bronx. Now, did I visit Puerto Rico? Did I visit other places? Yes. As I got older and my parents financially were able to take us to different places, yes. But I refer to places as the people I meet, because those people either A, lived in the Bronx in a different section and we happen to meet, that's a different place. B, migrated from another country to the New York and live in the Bronx and now we're in school, so that's different places. So the person represents the place is what I'm saying, to give you the experience so you can take in. And along the road, you're going to meet those people, whether they're family, whether they're friends, whether they're just moments in time that you've met somebody and they had a purpose and they serve their purpose and they're gone now. So you really don't have a friend. You can say they're an associate, but you don't talk to them anymore. But the interaction was probably minimal. But whatever happened in that interaction is something that allowed you to feel, to experience, to know something that at the end of the day, you took on to your life and your journey to where you're trying to be at. So I always tell people that even people you meet in passing, whether good or bad, there's a lesson and you should take notes of the lesson. A lot of the times, the lesson is either going to teach you what you want to do when you get older as you progress in your journey in life, or it's going to teach you what you don't want to do, what you want to perfect. I say that in the military, when I joined, there was leaders I admired and there was leaders I didn't admire. And I always said, if I was in that position, I wouldn't do what that person did. And I would do what this person did. I talk about first class that he retired as senior chief. But when I met him, he was a first class. And I to this day, I've met many, I've worked for many people. I've learned from many people. And I will say this, that in my opinion, one of the biggest impacts I had from a leader came from this person in my first command. And he retired as senior chief, Butch Ash, Clovis Ash. He passed away after retiring. Wish he was still around so I can talk to him every once in a while, even though we didn't talk much, but whenever I saw him, it was good conversation. Then Facebook, he was able to message him. But he had a big impact. That's one person in my life that I would say my journey was an important place, was a important stop, because it set the tone for so many other things. There were other leaders too as well. I'm just not saying he's the only one, but he's a significant piece of my journey in the military when I joining, being 18, leaving New York for the first time. Again, I've been to other places, but this is my first time moving from home to go work somewhere and live somewhere, embarking in a new organization, something new, the system, everything. And while I had structure at home, so adapting wasn't so hard to the structure aspect, but the living aspect, everything was so different, But anyways, so going back to a little back further, because I got ahead of myself. So the journey that we all have, and I've met many people in my time growing in New York. I tell people that I was very exposed to multiple cultures, different religions, and I think that's what helped me adjust to the military, even though who I was meeting in the military was not necessarily from a different country, but just from a different state that might as well be another country to me, I remember seeing the first time I saw somebody chew smokeless tobacco, and they got something in their mouth and they're spitting in a can that they just pulled out the trash can. And I'm thinking, like, are you gonna wash that? And they're looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, bro, you're not gonna wash that. He literally goes into the trash can and pulls out an empty soda bottle. I think I just threw out. So not only would I have my mouth on it, he just started spitting in it. And it was new to me. It was new. I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, I've never seen this. That's so nasty, And you would think, coming from the Bronx, right, where society might be like, well, they're wild over there. It's so poor, whatever, the whatever the stereotype is, or the thought processes of the Bronx. But hell, I've been around crackheads and heroin addicts, and I've never seen them do something like that. That was disgusting to me, But that's part of the journey, right? Experiences. You meet these people and they show you something new, and they expose you to something new, and you learn. And that's something that you can pass on to someone else when you come in passing and start talking about life. And the reason the journey, it got me thinking about journey. Now that I gave you a backdrop of what I consider the journey of life, is because I've been saying this, and everybody knows I got promoted last summer, so I extended my time in the Navy a little bit more. But no matter what happened, the extension was there. The outcome is still the same, which goes back to my first part of this whole this podcast, is the journey, right? No matter what the ending is, you can take different paths to get there. One are going to be less. One's going to have more detours and more stops, and maybe longer stops along the way. But at the end of the day, you're going to get to where you need to get to. And one is not. One is just going to be a straight shot. And if hopefully you don't have any complications, you don't have to make any pit stops, anything like that, you're going to make it. Well, for us in the military, one part of our journey that's guaranteed, if you do more than 20 years, is that you will retire, eventually, whether it's at 20, 24, 26, 30, you're going home. You're going home. You got to grow up. So that was me. That's what I was thinking about. And I was watching football, and, it just so happened that this year Tom Brady retires, maybe permanently, maybe not. But as of now, he's retired. And you start looking at the journey. And to put this in perspective, I've been in the Navy longer than Tom Brady played football. So it's one of those things that, if his journey, and you got to think his success is a lot higher than mine in the public eye. I can feel like my success is big because of what the example I set for my kids, my cousins, my nephews, and everybody else in my family that I've impacted, people that supported me in high school and made sacrifices to see me leave and be able to come out here. My aunt watching my daughter, when me and her mom were teenagers in high school, her mother sort of being a single parent in the sense, because I went to boot camp and she was left alone in New York with my family and her family and our daughter, and doing the best she could at 16 years old, you know? So my success is not just based on me being disciplined and dedicated and following the simple rules of what was put in front of me. My success is based on the fact that I've had always a good support system to help me along the way. So if you want to make it that, maybe my support system is the vehicle that I chose to drive in life to get to my destination. But joining the Navy was a stepping stone. That was my journey. And it should have been a quick one, 4 years and I'm gone. And then 4 years turned into now 24, almost 25 years this September. By the time I'm done, I'll have 26 years of service in the military. It's been a long journey. But along that, what got me thinking about is everybody I've met along the way, the impacts that those people have had, the legacy I hope I leave behind in life to these people, to these sailors, to the people I served with, in the sense that you start thinking about the journey, how you got here. Because the thing is that once I'm out, my life doesn't end. No, my journey still continues to the ultimate destination, whatever that may be, because I don't know it. I'm just taking the GPS of life the way it comes to me. And hopefully I make the right decisions to continue without stops, while I'm making the decisions where I'm going to have to stop and fix the vehicle a little bit, gas up more, rest before I continue to the next destination to get me to my ultimate destination. I started thinking about the friends I've made, coworkers I've spent time with, people that when I think of them, I think of what's the word I'm looking for? When I think of some people, I think of love. I think of happiness, important people in my time. I have friends that I don't really talk to every day, but when we do talk, we can talk for hours. Like we never stop talking. That when we see each other, we can see each other for hours. And I mean, just go to dinner and have a conversation. And in that conversation, it's like we never stopped. And it's one of those things that we don't have to talk every day, but we know we're friends. And if you need me, you call me, I'm gonna be there for you. I also feel that some of those people that I'm friends with, our communications increase at a certain point. And it's not because we decided to be more closer. I think is that time in our journey, we're needed. That companionship is needed. And when I mean companionship, excuse me, I'm not talking about like in a sense of a relationship. My wife is my companion. But what I'm talking about is that sometimes we go through things in life in our journey and we need a rider, like a battle buddy or somebody there to help us get through that. And it might be that they have the experience, they lived it, or have something to offer you to get through this part of your journey, through this rough patch of road or bad weather or whatever it is you're facing. But that's what they're there for. So you meet up again. You probably have conversations all the time. And then once you get over that, it kind of dies out and you keep going along the road and maybe that person stays behind. And it's not that you don't want to talk to this person anymore. That's not the situation. I just think that for that moment in time in your life, that's what you needed. And that's what was provided by whoever you believe in. I believe in God. So maybe God put that person in my life to help me get past this journey, this moment. And sometimes we'll probably never talk again after that. But guess what? For that moment, they were there. So it got me thinking about all that. It got me thinking about where I've been, people I've seen, the people I've communicated with, impacted me. And the journey of life, man, is so wonderful if you take it in, but it can be so painful if it doesn't add up, right? If it doesn't, it can be painful. We know a lot of people that suffer in life or had a hard time, i.e. maybe violence at home, between domestic violence, maybe abuse, physically, mentally, or sexually, not having certain things monetarily. So life was just not as easy, and they work hard to get where they got to get to. So everybody's journey and situation is very different. So that's what I wanted to talk about. was the journey. And like I said, as I thought about my journey and where it's going and how it went has been, man, I could tell you sometimes I get down, not because I'm depressed, because I'm happy and I'm worried, right? Because and I've talked about this in another podcast, the fear of the fear of the unknown, not knowing what the next step is. And before I got promoted, I was already facing that next step. And even then, I didn't prepare right for that next step. I procrastinated on many things because I was thinking, well, if I make it, I could stay in longer and just prolong the inevitable of me being retired from the military and having to do something else. But for many of us, in my situation, we wake up and start realizing that there is another part of this. We start embracing the other side of this journey, right? We start embracing the other destination. But before I get there, I'm gonna finish this one. So it bought me more time in my journey. It did. I got a little bit more gas in the tank. If I'm driving a Tesla, I stopped and got some more energy, some charge, and I can go another 300, 400 miles. So in my journey, I've met many wonderful people. I've made many wonderful friends. Some are friends to this day. Some, we see each other on Facebook. We comment each other's posts, but we're still friends, I think, in my heart. And I've made some decisions that made this journey rough, and I've made some that made it fun and easy. I've been impacted by bad weather, which I will say that the bad weather represents people that didn't have the same view as I did, that for some reason or other didn't take too kind to me, and they put their obstacles in the way. And for a moment, they were winning. They were winning that battle. The obstacles, the rough road was stopping me from getting where I needed to be, almost beating me to where I wouldn't be able to make it and just give up. But again, people have a way of coming in your life. And my wife at that moment, she stepped up and got me back to reality, snapped me back in. And then life happened and that journey took a toll. Then I had to do some self-finding in my journey. I had to find myself a little bit to get back to it, to get to where I'm at. So despite that one person hurting or trying to hurt, for whatever reason he was trying to do it, it didn't stop me. It almost did, but it prolonged me from getting to where I wanted to be. That's the truth. And then life happens, and I've created my own obstacles and my own rough road in life, and that helped me grow and helped my wife and I grow a little bit. And even though we grew apart in that moment, we came back together again. Our roads crossed again, and we back on the same road again. And sometimes you have to go through that to get where you want to be, or to be where you need to be, I should say. So my journey is still going. The road less traveled sometimes is the best road to take. The people we meet are like gas station pit stops. They're gonna help us charge up. They might keep us there a little bit, but they're gonna help us keep going by teaching us, by showing us what we should do, what we shouldn't do, or of just providing that one gem, that one piece of information that as you progress in life and you continue your journey down the road of life, you could start preparing for inclement weather in certain places, start preparing for the next stop, how to handle the curves of the road, how to deal with the ice on the road or snow or water or, anything that comes in that's going to stop you from being where you want to be. But at the end of the day, we all end up in the same place, is where we need to be. And that's journey. That's what I wanted to talk about, is the journey of life and how it impacts everybody. And for me, this journey's still going for another year, hopefully. And then there's another journey on the other side of that. I'll reach the end of one to continue on the bigger one, which is my life. And hopefully at the end of my journey, someone will sit there like I'm sitting here talking about people that impacted me. Hopefully I impacted them. And they're talking about their journey, where they're going and where they're going to be at. It's not to sound gloom and doom, no, because I'm very happy and content where I'm at. I'm just sharing my thoughts, my unsolicited advice to you, you know, how I feel that towards the end of this career path, which is one journey, it's in the process of me getting to my ultimate journey in life and my ultimate destination. And those people along the way impacted where I go. And the choices I've made have either made the journey easy at times, rough at other times, but all the same, I'm still on the road of life and kicking and screaming, going down to my journey, to my next destination, wherever that may be. And for all those people that have been on the ride with me, thank you. Thank you very much. But take that in consideration, that maybe what we're going through is part of what we have to go through to get to where we need to be. And whether that's good times right now or bad times or dark times, there's always going to be light. Just got to weather it. And the sun will shine. Just got to hold out. That's my episode, The Journey. Thank you for listening. Frank's Unsolicited Advice.